Good day and welcome back to the podcast Catch It, A New Perception. My name is Ketuk. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed yet. Please give it a thumbs up if you appreciate the episode. Welcome to the equinox. Welcome to the new year. Welcome to spring. I think about how a lot of the last couple months has been difficult for me. And this is a difficult time of year for me. I know it's where I've made a lot of changes in my life. If I look back at the history over the last few decades, right around the spring equinox, I have made many changes in my life. And I realize that they have been good for me. Generally speaking, changes don't come because things are going really well. I've made changes in my life because things weren't going well. And I've struggled over the last couple months. Even doing this episode today, I have been in more pain this last week, physical pain this last week than I have in a while. I don't know what it was like going through chemo because it's been a couple months and I removed that from my memory to the best of my ability to remember exactly the type of pain I had. And I have a lot of discomfort to the point of pain today. And I have for a few days. And I'm ready to rid myself of this. I have been gifted enough physical pain presently. I don't need it anymore. And I say that because I want to let go of it. I don't want to embrace it any longer. I have to the best of my ability. Earlier today, I was in enough pain where I literally nodded off. I am not taking any pharmaceuticals for it. I am doing what I can to be able to get through the pain. The other type of difficulty that I have this time of year has to do with the fact that I feel a little off. I'm not as centered as I could be. I'm not as balanced as I could be. And I don't know if you notice it in the podcast. I don't know if you noticed it in different episodes, the way I come across, certain things that I do. I don't know how noticeable it is to other people. I know internally it's very noticeable to me. And one of the reasons I say it is because what I'm learning is that I need to not feed it, and I also need to give it enough respect to know that I do get affected in February and March by different things. And hopefully I haven't been reacting real poorly to things. And that's what's really important, is that I show up to the best of my ability and I do the best I can, and I become conscious of how I'm moving forward. I was gifted something the other day in a way I had not been gifted something before, possibly. A man told me that a friend of his, I work in the entertainment business, and presently I'm working, rather than as a frontline employee, I am working on training some new employees. And some people came in, and I do know this guy a little bit from, he comes to get entertained at our place of entertainment. And so I'm familiar with him somewhat. And he's been in training for about a month, and he says to me, a friend of mine met you 25 years ago, and you said something that impacted his life. He didn't use that terminology. I believe what he said was, you had a conversation with him and related something to him, and he quit drinking. And he still isn't drinking. And he works as a drug and alcohol counselor, and it was hard to explain the way it came across. I didn't feel like he was necessarily giving me credit for this guy not drinking, because this guy not drinking is not drinking because of the things that he's done, the actions he's taken, the way he's changed his perception, the way that he thinks about himself, the way he thinks about the world. That's why he's not drinking. That much I know. If somebody makes a decision that struggles with certain things to live different, it's because of the decisions they're making, the actions they're taking is why they're getting different results. I get it. And there was something about it that just kind of struck me the way he was saying it. And I thought, that's kind of cool that I could impact him enough so he could make good decisions, so he could change his perception, so he could see the world different. He could see himself different, began to treat himself different, just did all kinds of things. The next day, he comes back, last day of training for the week, and this gentleman says to me, yeah, I talked to my friend last night. He lives in another state. He said he has helped nothing short of 30,000 people. He said, and the only way he could have done that was with that conversation from you. Something along those lines, like it was a catalyst. How much are we willing to have a conversation with somebody about them needing to make a different decision in their life, whatever that decision looks like? I know for each individual, they may struggle with different things. People will struggle with grief, for example. Could you have a conversation with somebody that helps bring them peace when they're suffering from grief, or brings them to an understanding so that they can see it different? Could you have a conversation with someone so that you can bring them to a point of being centered or more balanced? Whether they're dealing with grief, whether they're talking about some type of addiction, alcoholism. And today there's all kinds of these addictions, especially online, the way that people get out there and there, whether it could be a shopping addiction, it could be a sex addiction, it could be a porn addiction, it could be all kinds of different things. Are you able to reach out to someone? This is a person that I reached out to 25 years ago. I may have been sitting in a sacred circle with him. That's possible. He may have been at my place of employment. I don't know. I can't picture him. I don't know what he looks like, and I don't remember the conversation or where we were. He hasn't had a drink since that conversation, and he's helped over 30,000 people. That's bizarre. The numbers are bizarre. The fact that that ripple effect can happen so quickly. I remember in earlier episodes talking about, if I ever change the world, it will be because I reached out to someone and they reached out to someone else and they reached out to someone else, and that person reached out to these people and one of them changed the world. I could see that happening. I can see how that ripple effect, long-term ripple effect, finally gets out there and people see things different. They hear it different. It had to start somewhere. Could it start with you today? Having an impact on someone else and having that ripple effect keep going. Could it happen so instantly that you reach out to one person and they put themselves in a position to help thousands and thousands of people change their lives? Talk about changing their lives. I don't know what these 30,000 people have been up to. Homelessness, drug addiction, alcoholism, grief. I don't know. I have no idea. What is it that you can do that will help you feel good about yourself? What is it you can do to feel good about yourself, reach out to someone else, not make it all about yourself? And the reason I say that is because in a situation like this, I had no idea. I can't remember who this cat is. If I saw him, I might remember. If maybe even if I was told specifically where I met him or where the conversation took place, I might remember him. Maybe we had actually more than one conversation. I don't know. He remembered me. How are you going to be remembered by people? Who are you going to be remembered by? One encounter. Could you have an encounter one time with someone and have such a ripple effect that 25 years later, when they hear your name, they make a comment that comes back to you, that helps you to realize that you've carried a good heart for over 25 years? By the time I put out the second episode of this season, I do intend that day to understand that it's been 36 years since I made a conscious decision to get to know my higher self. And through that process, I've left certain things behind that I no longer participate in, that I'm no longer part of. So I'd been doing this for about 10 years, and then I run into this cat. I have a conversation with him, and he goes out and changes the world. Are you willing to change the world through a ripple effect? Are you conscious enough with the conversations you have, sharing your own experience? Because that's all I do. That's all I'm doing here. That's, I'm sure, what I did with this cat. Are you confident enough to share your own experience? And somehow you relay a message of hope that all of a sudden this person you're talking to could live different. They hear a message of hope. They feel that you've conveyed a message of hope. They begin to see it different. You've offered them something new. New perception? I don't know. For me, I need to continue to catch a new perception. Because I struggle this time of year, and sometimes people don't even see it or identify it or realize I'm struggling. I think I want to walk away from certain sacred circles I sit in and certain things I do. I feel like I'm not measuring up to my own standards. I feel like I'm not enough. I don't know if you've ever felt that way. But if you do, take an action to be able to think different today. Maybe that action is taking the time to talk to someone you've never met before. Be honest with them about what your journey's been, and it could impact their life in a way you could never fathom. And you may be like me where you don't hear about it for 25 years. It's possible. I remember talking about someone else that told me that I impacted his life outright. He used those words as far as I remember. That's where my memory takes me, is that he actually used those words, "You impacted my life." And what I realize is that it's possible I've impacted way more lives than people have ever said that to me. People have ever conveyed it to anyone else that knows me. It's possible I've impacted many people to be able to think different, to be able to take a different action, maybe to stop doing something they were doing that was destructive to their body or to their life, or I don't even know what it was that I said to this cat, and I don't even know that he knows. He may. Because I know that some of the people who have impacted my life, I remember some of the things they said. I remember how it impacted me. I may not remember specific words, although I think I do. It's possible that I remember the essence of what they're saying. And through that essence of what they were saying comes everything. I believe in this mystery, the Creator. I believe that I'll be okay. I have an understanding of when I get to take my long journey back home and return to the spirit world. We return back to the Star Nation. I look forward to it the day it'll come. And until then, I need to look forward to each and every day. I watched that morning star rise today. First full day of spring today. As this gets released, the second full day of spring. I'm looking forward to more of this. Good weather, good attitude, good outlook. And one day being able to impact someone once again. Maybe finding out a little more about this story, actually. Looking forward to next time. Live in harmony with and use the bounty of the land to bring kindness to the world. Dok Shao, okay?